praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. In the news, going into a few things that are happening, as the scriptures say, speak thou into the ears of my people the words of prophecy. Okay? And the word prophecy means to say before. As a matter of fact, let's lead with that scripture. Okay, as you still got naysayers and, people, crying about, their emotions of the matter. Well, the Heavenly Father don't give a damn about your emotions. And we're at the end of this man's world. Okay, and somebody has the full truth, as the prophets in the latter days will be set up. As a matter of fact, let's get that as well in the book of Sirach, chapter 36. Okay, Sirach chapter 36. Because we ain't got time for your emotions, man. We trying to get the kingdom, man. Okay, as you can see, our enemy, who you should have your eyes on, okay, is getting ready to do something big and drastic, not only to take, the focus and attention off of him, which is not going to work, but to take away all of your civil liberties, rights, okay, destroy the banking system, collapse the economy as we know it, and, ultimately push for civil unrest so that he can implement his order out of chaos is what we're seeing. And we're getting ready to see it on a whole nother level. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 36 and 14. It says, fill Sion with thine unspeakable oracles and thy people with thy glory. Okay. And an oracle is a prophecy. All right. A divine saying, and this is how our people have communicated, with the Heavenly Father through Yahweh Shai's sacrifice, through the Holy Spirit. The prophets are set up to give you a message from the heavens, man. See? And this is how our people will be filled with the glory. It says, give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning, and raise up prophets that have been in thy name. So the Lord has given testimony unto the elect, and they have the truth, okay? The testimony, which is ultimately going to lead to the end of this man's world, as the two witnesses, the elect of Judah and Ephraim, have been raised up here in these latter days. Okay, game time is up, man. Riding the fence, trying to be cute, playing, all of that is up. We're literally here. Okay. So the Lord has given testimony unto those that he has possessed from the beginning, and raised up prophets that have been in thy name. And the word prophet, before, phasi, to speak, to say something before it happens. And that's a form of spiritual power. It says, reward them that wait for thee, and let thy prophets be found faithful. You see that? So the prophets of the Lord are faithful right now. All right. All of you individuals who are just talking and complaining and crying and whining and trying to figure out a way to, make, Esau comfortable. Y'all are through, man. Okay. Let's get the book of Second Esdras, the 15th chapter. Okay. We'll get into a few things that I have through the Spirit. This is the book of Sirach. Salakia. Second Esdras, chapter 15 and 1. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, the things that were foretold to happen. We're pushing those things, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. And as the book of Habakkuk says, right, it says that the things that, the visions he wrote and the various other prophets wrote, they made it plain as possible so that here in these latter days, the elect men of the Lord, all right, would get the message and run, okay, to the highways and the byways and to these various platforms and tell the truth of the matter. So all of the visions that are written in the Holy Scriptures should be expounded on by the men of the Lord in these times, so that you can make sense of this mess that we are witnessing. All right. Here's a good point. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity, all right, which is the inability to believe or have faith. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So, even your particular family members, you're going to start to notice some of them are going to start to hit you up. All right. And certain gainsayers are going to be convinced. But in the grand scheme of things, the majority of the world is getting ready to be hypnotized to be against us. They already are. But as this man moves forward with these false flag attacks, these black swan events, okay, he's going to, through enchantment, try to manipulate the minds to switch to people like us, okay, with our belief, with our faith, all right, and being the problem of the world, and he's going to use that as a means to justify digital IDs, surveillance on another level, and the micro C-hip, which is the mark of the beast. That's the end game to this plan, okay, and you should see it clearly through the chaos that they're purposely orchestrating throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. This war is leading to the destruction of economies. And just know that Esau Edom has a method to his madness. Okay. Now, if you've been watching the news and prophecies, one of the things that I and we have told you is that as Esau, continuously gets exposed, he's going to use his media and enchantments to do what he always does. Okay. And, point the finger at another boogeyman. All right. Domestic terror and everything else that we've told you. I mean, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Again, it's not of us. The glory goes to the Most High through Yahweh Shai, that we even have the ability to tap into these things. Okay. And that was a heavy price paid through Yahweh Shai's sacrifice that has, now enabled us to, have the access to go into these scriptures. The seals were loosed through that sacrifice. So here in these latter times, we have, the scoop, the inside scoop through prophecy, man. And we don't take that lightly. Okay. So we're going to start here and go through a series of a few videos and articles and just get through them. Just to keep you up to date with what's happening. I'm pretty sure you brothers and sisters are being updated because all of the men of the Lord are just on fire and going in, starting with the apostles, the bishops, and the elders. Okay. This is from Dabu 7. Be ready. Iran activates sleeper cells, warns to stay one, all right, I believe, kilometers or what away from U.S. in Israeli banks. All right. Now, again, we've looked this up before, but let's just look up what is a sleeper cell. Okay. It says a secretive group of spies or terrorist agents that remain inactive within the target population until ordered to act. Okay. And we see with the Biden administration, you had the talking point of all manner of illegal immigrants being brought over. So you don't know who's over here. All right. It's just a big mess. As the scriptures talks about all of the mingled people that would be in the midst of Babylon the Great. All right, let's I believe that's in the book of book of let's see here. Yep, Jeremiah 50 and 37. It says, a sword is upon their horses and upon their chariots and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. So this is a melting pot. They shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures and she shall be robbed. So things are getting ready to happen as the Lord is, finishing this thing off for us, man. The days are being shortened. All right. These, months are going by like weeks. Weeks are going by like days. Okay. It's getting ready to be Friday again tomorrow. Okay. And through the spirit, all of this fulfills biblical prophecy, man. So let's play some of this video and get some articles because this man is at the end of the road. I mean, he's tacky as all get out, and he has no other play. This is his only play. And when you look at comment boards, everybody's figured him out. Okay, next is going to be the anti-SIM card. Okay, as a means to justify controlling the narrative and shutting people up, because this man is being exposed. Again, as we showed you that clip from The Wizard of Oz, you know, the wizard behind the curtain has been exposed. And now his act is to don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain. And he's going to do it through fear tactics, you know, mind control tactics, enchantments, magic, because he's a witch. See, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which the serpent wasn't no snake, you know, wiggling around with an apple. Okay. When you go into the root word of the Hebrew word for serpent, it's nakash, and it means a diviner, an enchanter, one who practices enchanting, all right, magic spells, witchcraft. Show me an animal that does witchcraft. All right. Now, there's particular ways that a serpent can be, you know, linked to evil, and there's particular ways a serpent could be linked to righteousness. But the Bible is symbolizing things. All right. And that spirit from the serpent, okay, is in this devil here. That's why the scriptures say that old serpent called the devil and Satan, they represent the evil. Okay. This is why you're hearing about the Epstein files. The Catholic Church has a history of just absolute terror and evil. Nothing but evil is tied to these people, yet they're able to use their media to paint everybody else as a boogeyman. Okay? These people are crazy. Pizzagate, these devils are something else. But anyway, I'll chill on the rant. Be ready, Iran activates sleeper cells.
All right, guys, this is pretty much a red alert for anyone that has money in the bank, your 401ks, all that. I already put out one warning because Jamie Dimon and the government come out and warned that the banks could get hit here at any moment. Now, we have confirmation that Iranian sleeper cells have been activated. They're openly threatening to eliminate Trump, and they are openly putting out a warning that everyone should stay away at least 1 kilometer away from U.S. and Israeli banks. They also add in their financial centers. They are openly about to target and hit financial centers. Why? Because the U.S. has targeted theirs. They've hit their infrastructure, their water, their communications, their banking, everything. And if you don't know, Iran is highly sophisticated in terms of their hacking ability. Why this hasn't been taken on head on? Well, it's their mechanism to fight back, and the world is a stage. I don't trust none of this. This takes.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. All right. However, these devils will use left-handed means. All right. You remember the 9 to the 1 to the 1. All right. They will use left-hand means to actually harm people and blame it on somebody else. Okay. And again, they're not going to let these things go to waste. Okay. Because again, he has but a short time. All right. We have to read that in the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter. Let's get this first. 2 Timothy 3:1. So not only do they have sleeper cells over there in the east, all right, which are causing these Arab countries where America has allied with, hell, right? But over here in the west, as we'll show you, okay, the FBI warns that Iran aspired to attack California with drones in retaliation for war. Okay? And may Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai cover us. Because again, we're going to be delivered out of all of this trouble. Okay? Because eventually, as we know in the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, Jacob trouble, all right, is going to uptick, where he's going to blame you for everything. He's going to blame us for everything. Okay? So you're going to have to be rooted. 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And we always show you that word perilous means hard to approach, hard to endure. Okay. And just like Yahweh Shah, there was a point where he knew he was getting ready to have to go through with that sacrifice. And he asked the Lord, is there another way? Okay. And in the flesh, who wants to go through all of this madness? But we know that this is the only way out. So we are at peace with it. We embrace it as the three holy children, in the story of the three holy children, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the Babylonian Empire. They walked into the fire, the furnace, for denying the bow to Nebuchadnezzar's image. They walked into that furnace praising the Lord, and Yahweh Shai showed up in that chapter. He showed up. The Son of the Most High showed up, and they were not burned by the fire. Do you believe that? Okay, it's going to take a very, very high level belief. All right, and the beauty is that it's not of us. The Lord is going to put it in you to believe and have faith on that level, which that's what's going to overcome this devil. The blood of Yahweh Shai, the testimony that we have, all right, and through faith, loving not these lives unto death. So you can't threaten the elect with death, and we change our tune. The elect understand that death is not the end all be all. So as we enter into these times, this man is going to use, like what people call fear porn. Okay, that's what he's trying to do. However, we know this man will actually do these things. Okay, so these are the perilous times that we are living in. Okay, and we ain't making it up. The scripture said it. Through the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. Revelation 12:12. Therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay, so he only had a little season. So when you look up this word wrath, he's coming down with great wrath. Woe means destruction. All right, we know this red devil has taken peace from the earth, man. And now, if you don't see the needs for him to be taken down, along with all of these heathen, then you ain't right in the spirit. The word is thumos, nigga doing the most. All right. Passion, angry, heat, anger, and he want that birthright back. Forthwith boiling up and soon subsiding again. Glow, adore, passion, inflaming with wine. Breathing as if breathing hard. Fierceness, indignation. Remember, this is the son of perdition. Okay?
Be right back to blind 11. And if anything happens here on the home front, it seems that our guard is down on purpose. All this DHS funding that's been pulled, and we're not secure. Now we have an alert that the banks are about to get hit.
Unwalled villages. Okay, Babylon. Okay, they spend so much money on their defense, but like Rome, you don't really focus on your offense because of pride. Okay?
Any moment. And for you that's thinking, oh, well, it may.
And the thing is, let's say that they were really about, illegals not getting in and really dealt with security and, what the devil, America would be hard to penetrate because it's surrounded by waters alone. Okay? It's surrounded by waters alone. And that, and it's Navy, it makes it hard. But this devil is being weakened. We can see that through this Iran war. He ain't what he used to be. Okay? He ain't what he used to be, man. Okay? And this is all the Lord's doings. Okay? Because on paper, Babylon got it. But we know spiritually they're on the decline. So listen to what he said.
Mechanism to fight back, and the world is a stage. I don't trust none of this. This takes me right back to blind 11. And if anything happens here on the home front, it seems that our guard is down on purpose. All this DHS funding that's been pulled, and we're not secure. Now we have an alert that the banks are about to get hit at like any moment. And for you that's thinking, oh, well, it may or may not happen. Well, Standard Chartered just evacuated Dubai offices because they're talking about striking them. They put them up there as an open target. So this goes beyond just hacking. They're talking about bombing the bank itself.
And what do you, how you, again, as we told you, how you think these Arab nations are going to respond? Eventually, they're going to want America out of the East. They're going to want them out. See, and they're going to band together because now he effing up their resorts. It's a war zone now. You know, people ain't going to be going there. It's over, man. So eventually they're going to band together and come against his ass. But this is where we are. Let's keep listening.
They're on the list. They're also actively talking about hitting Google, Amazon, and other strategic assets, technological assets in the Gulf area. Remember, they hit that one data center and it caused some problems. If they start targeting all those places full scale, it will be big time problems. The banks are on the plate, right? They're targeted, and at any time something's going to happen. Can only put out so much of a warning and so many warnings here before something does go down. But this seems to be the move they're going to make next. I mean, it only makes sense also in terms of tactics for them to do this. Now, this is going to affect civilians as well as the private sector and everything else. I've been warning you about a reset coming. It just seems awful funny to me that a situation like holding people's money hostage in the banks where you can't get it out, because that's all a hack or an attack is going to do here, it's going to benefit the US government. How's that? Because they are sitting there waiting for an event like this to happen.
They need it.
Digital currency waiting for you to.
They need it. They need this hell. They need these events, but it's going to spiral out of control for them. They need something so that they can justify moving forward with the digital world that they've set up all around you. These data centers everywhere, destroying the earth, bees dying left and right. Ain't no insects. You drive on a freeway, you know, for over an hour. There used to be a point where there was all kind of bugs on your car. Ain't no, like 3 bugs. And they still flapping their wing, yelling, help. Everything's through here. Okay?
Download the wallet, and then they can say bye-bye with cash. I smell a setup from hell coming here. That's what it always is, here on this world stage.
And remember, Trump promised he wasn't going to bring a central bank digital currency, but then he signed, I forget that bill, but within it was the stable coin, which pretty much is the same dang thing as a central bank digital currency, but with chocolate over it. So you people get ready to see the real devil. Okay?
Played and were lied to by them all. All the world leaders will get together, playing the people. Don't you ever forget it. Join me on the live stream.
All right. So there you go. FBI, you know, as we told you, all right, warns Iran aspired to attack California with drones, all right, in retaliation of war. Okay? The FBI, as corrupt as they are, warned that police departments in California in recent days that Iran could retaliate for American attacks by launching drones at the West Coast. Okay? It says, we recently acquired information as early as February 2026. Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using unmanned vehicles, okay, from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the United States homeland, specifically against unspecified targets in California. In the event that the U.S. conducted strikes against Iran, okay, we have no additional information. All right, so this is the type of stuff that is now, you know, in the headlines, so that the Epstein list and all of the freakiness and the wickedness that these devils are doing, okay, can be, you know, washed under the rug. But you know, in the grand scheme of things, it won't be washed under the rug. But all of the moves that he's making is going to backfire on him. And in his eyes, he has a wicked demonic plan where ultimately out of that destruction, you know, they're so, you know, on the high horse, they don't believe that they're going to be, you know, dealt with. And through that destruction, they plan on setting up an order. Okay. So, you know, over these last couple of days, you've had all kind of, you know, shootings. A lot of them, you know, we'll come right back to this. A lot of them, you know, dealing with synagogues. As a matter of fact, let's go here. All right. This was yesterday.
The attacker is dead. It all happened at the Temple Israel Synagogue in West Bloomfield Township in the Detroit area. According to investigators, the man rammed a car into the building. That vehicle caught fire after the crash. Officials say security at the temple killed the man, who has not yet been identified. Law enforcement says he had a rifle, but did not say if he fired it. According to its website, Temple Israel is the nation's largest Reform synagogue with about 12,000 members. Law enforcement says there were no specific threats against places of worship in the area, but they were on alert because of the ongoing U.S.-Israel strikes in Iran. The incident in Michigan is raising concerns here in Baltimore.
Immediately, Baltimore County Police and Baltimore City Police are in touch. They're increasing their patrols and their visibility in the communities. Our law enforcement partners are telling us they're scouring the internet and all their other intelligence sources for threats. They're not seeing any ties to Maryland, and that's certainly reassuring.
And, I think Trump just signed some new cyber policy as well. So they're getting ready to go in. And this is going to justify, civil affairs being policed by military men, robots eventually. Okay, not having free access to go to particular cities. You just feel it in the air. If you know the devil, you know he's getting ready to come with some sort of scenario. But then you have this shooting, all right, and a few others associated with a synagogue. Okay, as a matter of fact, this is one too. Okay, as a matter of fact, it says one killed and two others injured by shooter with ISIS ties. Okay, so ISIS is back in the news. And look how he looks. Okay, at Old Dominion University. Okay, where is Old Dominion University? As a matter of fact, it should tell you here. Okay, let's look up where Old Dominion University is at. Virginia. So one dead and two injured in this shooting, and this individual has ties to ISIS. Okay. And we remember a couple of weeks ago, you had the Austin, Texas on 6th Street, this individual, which Muslims don't do this, right? Walk around with a property of Allah shirt, and to hell with the Muslims, but we're just making a point. Like, come on now. Okay, so if you can't see where it's going, then I don't know what to tell you. Again, this man is wicked. He has all kind of shit up his sleeves, and he's not going to stop, man. But this situation here, right? Let's get it. Maybe a commercial will come up. I'll do it like this. I knew it. I knew it. ODU shooter. Let's just look it up like this. Let's see. See if we can just get a quick video on it. ODU. Oh, here we go. Let's just do this one.
Breaking news now. This is a photo of the shooter in the shooting at Old Dominion University. And again, the shooter has been identified as Mohammed Jalla. I want to share some background information that we learned from our partners at CBS News about him. So give me a moment. I'm pulling up this information now so I can read it to you in real time. We do know that Jalla was born in 1989 and that he was a former Virginia National Guardsman with ties to ISIS. We do know that he pleaded guilty in October of 2016 of attempting to provide material support to ISIS.
Going into that propaganda, all right? These illegals who are over here, who are, who get second chances after crimes. I mean, oh, Lord. This is Esau Edom, ladies and gentlemen.
And that he expressed regret for doing that. He was sentenced to 11 years in prison, but was released in 2024. But again, our partners at CBS News saying their law enforcement sources confirming that the man you see here on your screen, Mohammed Jalla, is the gunman in the shooting at Old Dominion University today. We do note that the gunman is dead, although authorities have not said yet how he died. Again, we do know the gunman is dead. We know there is one victim that has died in this shooting and two other people were injured. This is unfolding.
And again, he's not going to get creative with it. He's just going to do, 9, lie 1-1. as Dabu just called it. That was pretty much one of his last good, and now he's getting ready to come with, more, but um you should clearly see what it is, okay? So these are the things that are happening. Attack at Michigan synagogue was a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community. Okay, so here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay. So he rammed his vehicle into one of the nation's largest synagogues. So the narrative that's getting ready to be painted is that sleeper cells are here in the West, all right, with hatred against, the Jewish people and Edomites, and pretty much this is going to be their, go ahead to start persecution. Okay? Again, he's getting ready to come down with great wrath, man. Okay? 2 GTA synagogues hit by gunfire overnight. All right, this was on March the 7th. All right, Toronto, York police working together to determine if the incidents are connected. So in the Toronto area, in the North York synagogue, okay, you had shootings. All right. So again, these devils they're up to something. Okay, and as we always read in Psalms 140, got to get the scriptures in there, right? Psalms 140 and 1. Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continue are they gathered together for war. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Adder's poison is under their lips. They're getting, and their tongue is a sword as well. That puts me in mind of the book of Sirach, the 51st chapter. Okay. Verse 3, it says in Sirach 51 and 3, it says, and has delivered me according to the multitude of thy mercies and the greatness of thy name from teeth of them that were ready to devour me, and out of the hands of such as sought after my life, and from manifold afflictions which I had. Okay. They seek out of your life. The teeth of them that are ready to devour you, from the choking on every side, and from the midst of the fire which I kindle not, because he knows he can't just come after us. That will only be a horrible look on him, even right now with all of this. So he has to paint a narrative, and he's got to come with it. He's got to go fast. He ain't got time to sit back. Okay, from the depth of the belly of hell. All right, we are in the belly of hell. Okay, it says from the choking of fire on every side, crazy situations, and from the midst of a fire which I kindle not. All right, here it is. You didn't kindle the fire, but you in the midst of it and being blamed for it. Okay, Nero, right? It says from the depth of the belly of hell, from an unclean tongue and from lying words, by an accusation to the king, from an unrighteous tongue, my soul drew near even unto death. Okay, my life was near to hell beneath. Okay, the grave. Okay, the word hell. All right, it means the grave or a horrible condition on earth. All right, or in the New Testament, it could speak to Gehenna fire, which was a place south of Jerusalem where they burned, trash and dead bodies and did wicked sacrifices. Okay, symbolizing the destruction that's coming. It says, they compassed me on every side, and there was no man to help me. I looked for the succor of men, but there was none. All right, people are going to be reluctant to say they know you. Then I thought upon thy mercy and thy acts of old, how thou deliverest such as wait for thee, and savest them out of the hands of the enemies. Verse 10 is beautiful. Let me just get to this. Okay, it says, I called upon the Lord, the Father of my Lord. Okay, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, that he would not leave me in the days of my trouble. And we know the book of Jeremiah, right? The 30th chapter. tells you that our deliverance is associated with trouble. Okay? Alas. All right, verse 7, Jeremiah 30:7, for that great day, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck and burst thy bonds. So we're not going to have to deal with, the need for an ID, the need to try to figure out a way around this system, the need to get your ass up and go to work, sad because you got children. What kingdom on earth, all right, has ruled to where a family and children are a burden? You're scared. You're not happy. You're not rejoicing because of the system. You pay a house off. You don't own the land. You still got to pay property taxes, but you paid it off. Okay? Through. The Lord is going to break this yoke from off of our neck and burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves to them. So the Lord ain't getting ready to allow this man to win. But as we can see, okay, even in Norway, man detained, all right, at synagogue in Norway after security incident. Okay, when was this? Yep, March 12th. So you can clearly see where this is all going. Okay, you can clearly see where this is all going, man. All right. And this man is just doing wickedness all throughout the four corners of the earth. Scientists dumped 65 liters of chemicals into ocean to stop G warming. Boy, oh boy. But anyway, he's coming. This is a part of his great rap. Poison and everything. The food's all messed up. The atmosphere's messed up. Feeling sick. Okay. And you Americans have been betrayed by your own government. So you're in the hands of a, even worse kind of Edomite with the Amalekites. They don't give a damn how, who they take out, what age you are. All right. They just see blood. They want blood. Okay. So Isaiah 47 says what? Okay. Isaiah 47:10, the banker's ability to play both sides, right? For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. So he believes he's the most high, to where he's playing both sides, to where he's going to, inflict so much hell on earth and war that people will have to submit to his order, and that ultimately he will X out Jacob's blessing and establish his own. Okay, and his wisdom is left-handed wisdom. Okay, therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly. Stand now with thine enchantments. See? Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, that old serpent, wherein thou hast labored from the youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. And the people that they're putting in front of you, these elites are through. It's all over the place. He's weary. He's throwing enchantment after enchantment after the enchantment, man. To where you look up in the news and goddamn Jake Paul is being endorsed. This is a bunch of foolishness, man. Trump endorses Jake Paul for political office. This is a perverse spirit in Egypt, man. Where the hell are we?
And God's got us. Trump's got us. God bless. Love you, Kentucky.
Let me get a better video. Like what's going on here?
This guy has guts. And he walked out with a broken jaw. This was not the greatest fight. But you know what it showed? Lots of courage. Come here, Jake, sir. See you people. Yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage. You know, we never back down from a fight, even if they're much bigger than you, much, much bigger than you. And I feel all the local Kentuckians feel the same way. You guys have that fight. You guys have that swag. There's a lot of young kids in here. The future of America. I grew up just a few hours away from here. My dad taught me to fight. And all of our voices matter in America. And I'm never afraid to speak the truth. And I know you guys aren't. We are here representing the United States, and it's just a blessing. Thank you, Mr. Trump. We need more factories like this thriving all over the country, and I know he's going to be the one to bring that here to us. I know.
And you notice that Trump's tie is no longer red. Okay? Trump's tie is usually red, but over these past couple of months, it's been purple, which is red and blue. Does red and blue make purple? Yes, mixing red and blue paint or pigments creates purple. So they're merging the two into one. Okay? Trump red tie. Okay, this is he usually wears a red tie. I mean, that's what he's known. Or a Republican period is known for, wearing a red tie. All right. And the Democrats blue. Let's see. Do Republicans wear red tie and Democrats blue? Yes. Generally speaking, the Republicans are associated with the color red and the Democrats with blue. Okay? They're the real Crips and Bloods. See? So now you see this guy walking around with a purple tie, which is the merging of two. Again, Revelation, the 11th chapter, or the 13th chapter, rather, right? Revelation 13 and 11, and I saw another beast coming up out of the earth. This is the revival of Rome. Okay, we have a whole lesson on this chapter. If you don't know where it's at, ask or look for it on my page. Okay, but there's even the apostles, we all went into this. It's a very historical, very important book. So Revelation 13 and 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, a beast coming up out of the earth. And when you understand this word beast, okay, it's therion, which means let me get to the point, a wild animal. Okay, a beast, metaphorically, of a brutal, bestial man, savage and ferocious. And that's Esau. Okay, the man of the field. Okay, so when you talk about another beast coming up out of the earth, this is a nation of people given rulership in the earth. Okay, and this one just so happens to be Esau Edom. Fulfilling his renaissance, his rebirth, fully bringing back the Roman Empire on earth. And the Democratic and Republican Party represent the ancient plebeians and patricians. Although a few things are a little different, it's the same concept. Okay, the plebeian represents the working class, is for the common man, right? The farmer, the laborer, the people who, make society go round. Pretty much the fight should be for them. Okay. And the government basically should have programs to aid these people, but it turned into a mess. Democracy eventually has turned into a mess to push, liberal policies and things that are completely anti-Messiah. Then you have, the patricians, the plebeians. It was more geared towards the aristocratic class, okay, that owned everything, you see? And pretty much in a republic, these are the set rules, okay? And money will flow, all right, but you have to follow these rules, okay? And just more traditional, family-based, yada, yada, yada. And this devil has used these two opposing, the conservative and the liberal madness as a means to drive people mad and give them some, a false sense of freedom. But as you can see, these horns are clashing. Okay. Again, it comes like a lamb because a lamb represents meek, in a sense of being, docile, not here to harm you. Right. And he spake as a dragon. Okay. The word dragon is Draco, right? Draco or Dracon, which goes into draconian measures. When you go back to the Greek Empire, Athens, Greece, they had Draco, which is a lawgiver. Okay. What is Draco, okay, known for? Okay, he was a Athenian legislator known for his extreme or severe laws. He replaced oral blood feud based laws with strict written rules that mandated death for many offenses. Okay, and now with the necessary, false flags put in place, they can justify merging. We need a technocracy. We need, and that's where it's going. Okay, we don't need the old form of government. Okay, we need a technocracy. Okay, and when you go into the plans of the technocracy in 1930, okay, it's linked to the Club of Rome. Okay, let's just ask, what is the link? What is the link? And you look these things up, man. And we have videos on it. The link between the technocracy and the Club of Rome is rooted in the organization's origin as an elite group of scientists, industrialists, and civil servants who aim to use system analogous computer modeling and expert knowledge to manage global crisis. Okay, and Palantir is here. Okay, and various different, surveillance tools that they got from Babel Street. Ironically, okay, you have Babel Street. What is Babel Street? It's in Virginia. Okay. You can't make this up. AI-driven risk intelligence. Okay. And this is how they're gonna, govern the world going forward. But ironically, it's called Babel Street. Okay. It's the global leader in mission grade risk intelligence. Okay. So surveillance tools. Okay. And they've been setting them up all around you. They just need the right situation, as the scriptures talks about unrighteous decrees. But as you can see now, Trump has the purple tie.
I know God is with us. I know he wants us on the right side of history.
What God you think they're talking about? So this is a complete mess. You're in the middle of World War III, and you're sitting up here with a damn YouTube celebrity. What the hell is going on here? Okay. Erica Kirk.
Where's Erica?
U.S. President Donald Trump has appointed Erica Kirk, the widow of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, to the Board of Visitors at the U.S. Air Force Academy. The position places Erica Kirk among 16 members responsible for advising the Secretary of Defense on matters related to the Academy, including curriculum, morale, discipline, and institutional policies. Charlie Kirk, the founder of the conservative...
Look like she just got through one of them wild orgies they do. Look at this shit. Appointed to Air Force Academy Board. What's her experience with this? Another unqualified Cupid stunt. Like, what the hell is going on? This is enough to just make you puke, isn't it? What a sick joke. I maintained aircrafts for years ago, and I qualify for this position much more than Erica. Insanity, what the hell? We're so effing cooked. Let's get the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter. Okay? The leaders of Zoan are fools. Egypt's wisest people give stupid advice, that which is then is now. This is the modern day Zoan. This is the modern day Egypt. And Zoan is where Pharaoh and his counselors met. Okay? Let's ask chat so you can know what you're reading. What was the role of Zoan in ancient Egypt? Did Pharaoh meet? Let's just ask that. Zoan was an important royal political city in ancient Egypt. So that will be DC today, right? Especially during the time of the Bible. Okay? A royal capital in the Nile Delta. It was a capital city. It was the capital of the United States. DC, right? And that's the sword. Okay? It says it was located in eastern Nile Delta. It controlled trade routes, military access into Egypt, connections with Canaan and the Levant. Because of this, many pharaohs ruled from Zoan during parts of the New Kingdom in the third period, yada, yada, yada. This was a place where pharaohs, officials governed, royal advisors worked. Okay, and let's ask, how would Zoan look today? And where would it be? How would Zoan rule today, and where would it be? Let's just see. All right, I don't need to know all that. Look, it said Washington, D.C. Cario. Oh, man. In Egypt, okay. It said Washington, D.C., meaning it would be government leadership, national admiration, military command, diplomatic activity. Wow. There you go. I'm just saying, how would it govern, man? This chat is through, man. What? Okay, no. I asked the question. What would be the role of Zoan today? Let's see. Political leadership, DC, basically. It says it. Where they create policy. So when you read this, it says ancient Zoan, but in the spirit, we know this is talking about the final captivity, the spiritual Sodom in Egypt. So the leaders of Zoan, all right, are fools. Egypt's wisest people give stupid advice. How do they dare tell the king that they are successors of ancient scholars and kings? They boast in this high IQ. They boast in having this great, wisdom. But look how stupid they are. The king of Egypt, where are your clever advisors, those clever advisors of yours? Perhaps they can tell you what the Lord Almighty has planned for Egypt, man. Maybe this new appointed Air Force, all right, whatever the hell, like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? This is a big, gigantic haunted house.
And institutional policies. Charlie Kirk, the founder of the conservative organization Turning Point USA, had served on the same board before he was assassinated in September last year. He was shot and killed on September 10th during a college event in Orem, Utah. Following his death, Erica Kirk took over as CEO of Turning Point USA. The organization says it now operates more than 800 chapters on college campuses across the United States and has been a major force in conservative youth activism.
Yep, going around pushing Esau pseudoscience and the fact that you tribes are the true problem. You have a low IQ, you stupid. Okay, you're naturally sinkers. You're just, the reason you are the way you are is because you are just a base person. You don't have it. So that was kind of like one of the focal points of, Trump getting back into office, is not being ashamed of saying that shit. Okay. And there's all kind of wickedness going on with these people. You can just see it. Like, what is this?
The Air Force Academy Board of Visitors includes several prominent political figures, including Congressman Jeff Crank of Colorado, Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama, and Congressman August Pfluger of Texas, who serves as chairman.
They all look guilty. Look at this nigga. You trust your son with this guy or your daughter? The fuck? Come on, man.
Erica Kirk's appointment was not formally announced, but her name has recently appeared on the board's official list of members.
Charlie loved you. It's hard not to get emotional because I know that he would have been the first phone call when he found out that we were going to be taking this position. And the way that I was able to witness the two of you work together for years and to champion and support the president was absolutely humbling to witness. And I'm so proud of you. And Charlie is going to be with you every single day in spirit. And I will be praying for you every day because I know that this is just the beginning of an incredible opportunity for you. And sir, thank you for allowing Sergio to have this beautiful moment.
Thank you very much. Thank you, John. We're also very good friends with a guy named Charlie. We just know him as Charlie. And his
again, verse 13, Isaiah 19 and 13, the leaders of Zoan and Memphis are fools. Okay, Memphis was a big hub of witchcraft in ancient Egypt. It's the same thing it is here in America. In the modern day, Nile River is the Mississippi River, which is very important to Babylon the Great. It says they were supposed to lead the nation, but they have misled it. The Lord has made them give confusing advice. As a result, Egypt does everything wrong and staggers like a drunk slipping in his own vomit. A perverse spirit, man. Like, what is this? What's going on here? Ecclesiastes 10 and 5. There is an evil, NLT, which I have seen under the sun. Kings and rulers make a grave mistake when they give great authority to foolish people and low position to people of proven worth. Okay? So we're seeing, servants, foolish people in positions of rulership, man. And as we are getting closer to the end, what a grave mistake we made by following these people. What a grave, mishap it was to really look at these people as they were it. Now that we're gaining wisdom and we're coming up on this wizard, again, I got to play it again. I have to play it again. Okay. Wizard of Oz scene. Now, remember, on their way to him, he used all kind of witchcraft and put all kind of, pitfalls in their way. The dog went. Caleb found his ass out.
Oh, the great Oz has spoken. Oh, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So now he's getting ready to flood the airwaves, okay, with threats. You have this situation here, false flag alert, 4 drones stolen from U.S. military base, which are heavily fortified. You got all this AI and technology, right? And 4 drones can just be taken, okay, from U.S. military base as FBI warns of Iranian drone attacks. So what the hell is going on here, man? I mean, goodness gracious, they need this devil is he just got to be stopped. Drones stolen. Let's see if we can get a video on it. Drones stolen from military base. Like what?
Somebody walked into one of the most famous military.
And this dude right here, Glenn Beck, is in a deep sleep. He's through. He's delusional. He says some things that are, decent sometimes, but his belief in, this government and America is just absolutely crazy.
Installations in the United States, Fort Campbell, and they walked out with 4 military drones. Who goes in to the 101st Airborne? Kind of a death sentence. How did they get in? How did they get out with 4 drones? We're not talking about the kind of drones, that you buy at Best Buy. These drones are worth up to $125,000. And the Criminal Investigation Division of the Army has now just offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of these thieves. And somebody walked into one of them.
Oh, boy. See, see what this guy got for us. MAGA scared of Christianity.
All right, so this is kind of crazy. Ready? So James Tallarico, who of course is the Democratic candidate running for U.S. Senate in Texas, is going to be up against either Cornyn or Paxton. We don't know yet. They have to go to runoff election, but Tallarico does not. Okay. Somebody posted this online. It's a James Tallarico quote. He's clearly, at church here campaigning. And listen to what he says.
Christ is the immigrant, deported without due process. Christ is the senior, deprived of their Social Security benefits. Christ is the protester, kidnapped in an unmarked vehicle by plainclothes officers.
So that's it. That's the quote. Now, when I hear this, my mind immediately goes to, I bet this was like a Tallarico fan who posted it, or somebody affiliated with the Tallarico campaign that posted this, right? It's, hey, look, yeah, we're campaigning. Here's some of the stuff we're saying. Like, we're proud of this type stuff, right? The reality, the Senate Republicans posted this, bro. And yes, I need you to understand, they posted this as if it's like scandalous and as if it's like unacceptable and crazy and weird. They posted this to be like, you believe this fucking guy? You believe what he just said? He just said Christ is the immigrant deported without due process, and Christ is the senior deprived of their Social Security benefits, and Christ is the protester kidnapped in an unmarked vehicle. You believe that shit? We are at the point now where the Republican Party is like openly demonic. They are openly evil. Like, they want people to know how depraved they are. They want people to know how ruthless and disgusting they are. They want people to know, like, we are the villains. They are embracing the villain role. They're embracing it. And somehow they think that makes them more appealing. Like, I'm sorry, at this point, all of these, like, Republican Twitter accounts are run by, like, 14-year-old groypers who, like, cut their teeth on motherfucking 4chan. That's what I approve this message. And it's like, yeah, of course. Then, wait a second. They respond to him, and they post this. It's him, and it says beta. It's a picture of him, and he's wearing a shirt, and it says beta. And, like, they're being like, beta, following the message of Jesus Christ?
Yo, these devils are through, man.
We're starting to see more.
Check this out.
More and more of this, man. You go talk to previous Trump supporters, and a lot of them are flipping. A lot of them are kind of embarrassed, right? Went viral, and I couldn't wait to share this with you. Guy's name is Richard Stanley from Fort Pierce. He's a Florida resident. And, you'll understand why he went viral very quickly when you listen to it. Here we go.
Bragging the other day on news, 190 or 290 somewhere. It's $5.50 a gallon. I miss my Uncle Joe. I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket.
He said, I miss my Uncle Joe. I was balling back then.
I miss my Uncle Charles, yeah.
He was bragging it was $1.90 for gas. I paid $5.50 the other day. I'm assuming he's talking about diesel because that's how much that was. Bruh. When white Florida men are going, I miss Joe Biden. I'm going to say, I miss Joe Biden. Oh, you know you done fucked up. You know you done fucked up. And the reason why we know this shit has to sting for Trump is that with stuff like this coming out, a couple days later, he's like, let's do an affordability tour. Let's do that. And so, the other day, he was in Kentucky and he was in Ohio, and he had these big banners behind him. One said lower prices, and the other said bigger paychecks. So in other words, he thinks, oh, wait, if I just go out in front of people and bullshit, and I say, the problem's already been solved, and you're having the bigger paycheck and the lower prices. Meanwhile, prices are going up and paychecks are staying the same or going down. It's not going to work. The postmodern conservatism only works to an extent, right? Reality will catch up with you eventually, all the time. It is guaranteed to catch up with you eventually. Okay.
And this is where Esau is. Okay, Proverbs 28:2 in the NLT. When there is moral rot within the nation, its government topples easily. But wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability. And we know what Sirach, the 10th chapter says. I mean, goodness gracious. Okay, this is a horrible rulership, man. This is a big mess. And this is how the end of his world looks. Okay, this is how it looks, man. Okay, there was one more video I wanted to play of the consequences of what's going on with this war, the Strait of Hormuz being shut down. You know, if banks in the East are targeted, what could this lead to? Okay, let's just play a little bit of this.
Today, March 11th, Iran's military command told the world something no one in global finance expected to hear. Banks are now a target. Not oil pipelines, not military installations. Banks, financial institutions, the nerve centers of the global economy, declared targets. Iran's Khatam al-Anbiya headquarters, its joint military command, issued a formal statement today declaring that banks are now legitimate targets. Specifically, banks and financial institutions linked to the United States and Israel across the entire Middle East region. The spokesperson's exact words, confirmed by Al Jazeera, were direct. The enemy left our hands open to targeting economic centers and banks in the region. Then came a second sentence in that statement, one that sent a chill through every trading desk watching the live feed this morning. People of the region should not be within a 1 kilometer radius of banks. I'll read that again. This is an operational warning, not rhetorical pressure. The statement came after Iranian media reported that staff inside a Tehran bank had been killed in U.S. and Israeli airstrikes. Iran did not respond by targeting another military base. It responded by redefining what a target is. And that redefinition is the most consequential thing that happened today. Iran is executing is the most sophisticated economic pressure campaign any regional actor has attempted in decades. And it is built around one core strategic insight. Iran cannot match U.S. and Israeli conventional firepower. No one in Tehran or Washington pretends otherwise. But winning the military exchange was never the only goal.
Well, you take a guy who's just a great, boxer, right? And you get in the ring with his ass, right? He beat your ass. He beats the other guy's ass just all the time. But if you take that same boxer and put him in a situation of, in the field, all right, or in an environment he's not used to, okay, then ultimately, his boxing, yeah, he would still beat your ass, but in this particular environment, he's not, he may be scared of darkness, scared of this, scared of that, or weak at this, weak at that. Your weaknesses are exposed. Okay, and remember what happened in Afghanistan where Esau gave up. In the East is more than meets the eye. It's hard to conquer these regions and set up regime changes like you really want. Okay, and they're not going to stop.
The real goal is to make the cost of continuing high enough that pressure builds from
So Iran knows they can't, win a physical, war. Although they're holding their own. In the grand scheme of things, Iran was never supposed to be a match for Babylon, which is how we know we at the end. Okay? But Iran knows that if it can weather the storm, right, eventually these things will have economic impacts on Babylon. Okay, which the elites want that because they have to collapse this system. Okay.
Expected places, from trading floors, central banks, and corporate boardrooms in New York and London. Declaring banks as targets is precisely the mechanism designed to generate around one core strategic insight. Iran cannot match U.S. and Israeli conventional firepower. No one in Tehran or Washington pretends otherwise, but winning the military exchange was never the only goal. The real goal is to make the cost of continuing high enough that pressure builds from unexpected places, from trading floors, central banks, and corporate boardrooms in New York and London. Declaring banks as targets is precisely the mechanism designed to generate that kind of pressure, the kind that governments cannot absorb quietly or explain away with a press briefing. Dubai is the reason this threat lands so hard. It is not just a city. It is the financial backbone of the entire Gulf region, home to hundreds of international bank offices and sovereign wealth funds. JP Morgan, HSBC, Standard Chartered, all have major Gulf operations headquartered or anchored in the UAE. The country manages assets measured in the trillions of dollars. If Iran's formal targeting doctrine now includes financial infrastructure, Dubai is no longer just near this war. As of March 11th, Dubai sits inside it. This is the part the live coverage keeps moving past too quickly. The financial dimension of this conflict is not a side note to the military campaign. It is the second front. And today, that second front just received its formal declaration of intent from Iran's highest military authority. Drop a comment below. Does this change how you think about Gulf financial exposure? If this kind of layered analysis is why you come to this channel, hit. A DDoS attack is disruptive. A wiper attack is destructive. These are fundamentally different things with different consequences. Wiper malware does not steal your data. It does not encrypt it for ransom. Book published March 10th confirmed Brent settled at $94 per barrel on March 9th, up roughly 50% from the start of the year, the highest since September 2023. WTI briefly touched $119 per barrel at peak volatility.
So again, at the end of the day, I typed in here, we ain't got to watch all that, is how could Iran attacking U.S. and Israel banks in cyber war affect the world or Americans? It says in simple terms, if Iran attacked U.S. or Israeli banks and launched a major cyber war, the effects would mostly be economic and digital disruption, not bombs. All right. It could still affect everyday life around the world. Banking problems, cyber attack, banks could cause it could cause online banking apps going down, ATMs not working, payments and transfers being delayed. Cyber experts warns that DDoS floods and hacking bank networks could be temporarily shut down. You won't be able to log into your bank account. Credit card payments will fail. Businesses can't process payments. Usually banks recover quickly, but even a few days of disruption can cause panic. And that's what he wants. He just wants disruption in the markets. COVID was a big blow. Okay. And many things that have been happening, train derailments, food processing centers going down. All kind of stuff has been going on over these last couple of years, man, since 2020. All right, really before that, but it just upticked then. Stock market and financial market shock, huger oil and gas prices, which we're already seeing that. Okay. Attacks on infrastructure, cyber warfare often targets more than banks, power grids, water plants, hospitals, transport systems. Okay, the things that Israel and Babylon do worldwide, collateral damage and all of that, now is being threatened to happen unto them. Power outages, delayed flights, that's already happening. Okay, the whole airfare system is all jacked up. Okay, delayed flights. Okay, in the news all over the world. Okay, there's a flight delay and cancellations. So these moves are leading to economic collapse. Okay, through this cruel Lord ruling, doing the bidding of the elites. Okay. Yep, verse 7, the crops planted along the banks of the Nile will dry up and be blown away. All right, the Mississippi River is drying up. Things ain't moving. Okay, through this man manipulating the elements, it's harder to grow food. Crops are failing. It says weavered and skilled workers will be broken and depressed. Jobs are being taken away. So we're living in some very, very interesting times, man. Okay? We're living in interesting times. Call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, man. Tankers attacked. There's all kind of stuff going on. The Catholic priest warns the stage is set for the rise of the Antichrist. Okay. Putin is calling immediate halt to Iran war. I saw something on that. I'll have to tap into it. 6 people arrested after homemade explosive devices were thrown near home. So it's just, danger. China could see widespread use of brain-computer tech in 3 to 5 years. All right, so I just wanted to get into a few things. I think that's pretty much it, man. It's, nothing too big. Arrows of indignation.
Footage describing what it says is a new and fresh wave of multi-warhead missile launches that will be aimed at targets across the entire Gulf region. They have come out and said the American people better get ready for $200 per gallon oil, and then that equates to $12 per gallon gasoline, $8 to $10 per gallon diesel. Now I have a video that maybe we'll get to today of Tim Burchett saying that we are getting screwed. Retailers are already increasing their prices for oil they paid less on 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard issued a statement saying that only a complete surrender of Donald Trump will stop this war. The United States responded with an increasingly sophisticated military attack. In one operation that was described by defense analysts as psychological warfare, we saw hundreds of decoy drones flooding Iranian radar systems, the ones that are left standing. This created false images of incoming American fighter jets. Iranian defenses, distracted by these fake or phantom aircraft, were ending up just striking drones in the air that had no missiles, no warheads. The International Energy Agency proposed and said that we may need to continue the release of a strategic oil stockpile. Europe began mobilizing their positions. 7 different NATO-aligned countries, including Germany, France, Italy, the Netherlands, Greece, and the United Kingdom, deployed their warships to what will be, according to some, the first stage of World War III. The chaos is now spreading beyond military targets. Iran said that don't go anywhere within 1 kilometer of a bank, anywhere in the world, because those are the future targets of the Iranian administration and their
So.
Welcome back. The global battlefield is expanding beyond the land, sea, and air, now in the far reaches of outer space. American forces have used technology in space to destroy Iran's military infrastructure during Operation Epic Fury, while tracking and shooting down retaliatory missiles. The New York Post reports Space Forces' infrared beams track the missiles the second they launch via the heat they create. Crews work inside radar domes called radomes, resembling giant golf balls. They receive information in the sky in real time, calculate the trajectory of missiles and therefore their likely destination, and act accordingly. Joining me now with more of this is the man of the hour, NASA Administrator Jared.
Oh, hell no. Look at this nigga.
It's good to see you this morning. We so appreciate your time.
Oh, man. Gotta go.
Space being a major national security issue, and we need to protect it. Give us your take on specifically how space is involved in this particular fight and the battle on Iran.
Absolutely. And space is the ultimate high ground, right? President Trump certainly knows this. It's why he created the Space Force during his first term. It's why he created the Artemis program, which is kind of on the peaceful civil side.
Artemis. Now, Artemis was an idol. It's a goddess. NASA targets Artemis 2. Artemis is the ancient Greek goddess of the hunt, the wilderness, the wild animal, the moon, and chastity. So all these idols are being worshipped today. And now they have the technology to actually act, to give the idol life. As we're witnessing the image of the beast speak through this system. This is the Greco-Roman Empire all over again, which we know Rome is what gave them their power. So all of the gods and goddesses and what they're doing is centered around these idols. Okay, but this man is through.
Space, which is my responsibility at NASA, and that's America's moon rocket behind us right now. But you're absolutely spot on.
And we know NASA is a Hebrew word which means to lift or to deceive. Okay.
The assets we have in space, the satellites that are there for observation, for communication. I mean, these are the capabilities that are identifying the rocket launches, that are communicating to our forces and give America an extreme edge in this country.
And this is really old technology. All right. But I mean, this is just mind games, putting stuff in the news, and they're telling you too. This is what they're going to be using on you people here in the United States. The ability to just strike down, because not only are they going to use this technology to fight against Yahweh Shai's return, they're going to use it to fight against the American people. Okay, and they want you to ride. They're waiting on you to, come after them, so they can justify it.
Yeah, and that's why we worry so much about protecting space, because we know that that's where our satellites are, and an adversary would want to take down our satellite to shut the lights, certainly on Earth. And
so they're putting you in threat of some sort of terror, some sort of attack. Okay, and the scriptures talks about the fanners. All right, that will be put in Babylon. Okay, Jeremiah 50, 51 and 2, it says, "And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her hand. In the day of trouble they shall be against her round about." And when you read it in the let's read it in the NLT, "Foreigners will come and winnow her, blowing her away as chaff. They will come on every side. They will rise up against her in the day of trouble." Okay, and we're looking at these fanners, the heightened situations being brought about. Foreigners all, in the land, and they're being, accused of, now it's getting ticked up. Now they're entering into another era of war. Okay, in the grand scheme of their NWO.
and impact America. Have we seen evidence of an adversary trying to mess with any of our satellites?
Well, there's no question about it. Again, this is why President Trump created the Space Force, is because this is one of the most important technological domains, and it is no longer secure. I mean, our adversaries have capabilities in space that can threaten our assets. Now, we, of course, have our assets in space that can counter some of that. It's also why the high ground of space keeps getting higher. The satellites initially in low Earth orbit are closer to Earth. They're probably a lot more vulnerable to the satellites we have in geostationary orbit. But now this is why cislunar space is important. You get higher up, you can still look down on Earth. You have some greater freedom of maneuverability the farther away you get. This is kind of the reality of the new space race.
So what does the U.S. need to do right now, then, Jared?
And if you're in a war, why would you put this on the news? You wouldn't want your enemy to know what you got, what you're doing, what your strategy, what you're looking at. Like, this is BS, man. These people got to go.
I mean, when you look at the national
Epic fury,
stakes, whether it be lunar dominance, satellite protection, space supply chains, what are you most focused on, and what does the United States now need to do to protect that space?
Well, my first day on the job, I'm in the Oval Office as President Trump signs America's space policy, America for superiority in space. Now, my responsibility is on the civil, peaceful side to it. What are we doing about it? We're returning to the moon. We're returning to the moon, and
you're going back to the moon. Oh, my goodness, man. This is it. This got to be the end, man. Oh, Lord. Oh, man. Okay.
We're going to stay. We're going to build a lunar base. And next
nigga never went to the moon.
Which is America's moon rocket. It's right behind me. 8.8 million pounds of thrust. We're going to send 4 astronauts around the moon in a matter of weeks, safely back to Earth. And then we're going to set up for missions every year, again in 27 until 28, when we land on the moon. And again, this time to stay. We're doing the other things. We're going nuclear power and propulsion in space. So someday you can see American astronauts plant the stars and stripes on Mars. So this is kind of all that we are doing here at NASA. We're pioneering and cheering America.
He gonna put an American flag on Mars. He said a lot. He said a lot in a little time.
Moon. We're returning to the moon, and we're going to stay. We're going to build a lunar base. And next up, is Artemis 2, which is America's moon rocket. It's right behind me. 8.8 million pounds of thrust. We're going to send 4 astronauts around the moon in a matter of weeks, safely back to Earth. And then we're going to set up for missions every year, again in 27 until 28 when we land on the moon. And again, this time to stay. We're doing the other things. We're going nuclear power and propulsion in space. So someday you can see American astronauts plant the stars and stripes on Mars. So this is kind of our role that we fulfill here at NASA. We're pioneering.
This is a mess.
Then you've got Space Force. They're the ones that are standing out in the hill. They're looking out for everyone here on Earth. And then you've got looking out farther into space as NASA kind of leads the way.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. I want to get back to the nuclear propulsion comment that you just made, but you've been referencing Artemis behind you. What do we need to understand about Artemis, Jared? What do you want to tell us about Artemis? Do we want the camera to widen out or go closer to show us specifically what you're referring to?
Okay, well, what's most important about Artemis is it's a program that lives on beyond any one rocket. You know, President Trump wants to make sure that we pick up where Apollo 17 left off. We are not just going back to the moon to plant the flag and bring home rocks and leave the footsteps, but to build an enduring presence on the moon, a moon base where we can realize the scientific, economic, national security value on the moon, to be a proving ground, to test out the capabilities for someday when America's journey takes us to Mars. So this is the opening episode, but you're going to start seeing moon.
You're going to go to Mars.
Almost on a monthly cadence. A lot of uncrewed vehicles are going to go there as we start to build out the moon base. You're going to see crewed vehicles.
This is a mess. You so-called white, you Edomites are a goddamn mess. This is a mess. What is this? What is this? Who is this? Who are you? What is this?
The astronauts going.
Look at this shit.
Every year, eventually getting down to 6 months. Vehicle architecture will change until you've got repeatable, affordable missions going to and from the moon.
Is this the man?
Such an important point in terms of the U.S. picking up the pace of all of this, as China is trying to win here as well.
What is this?
Janet Robinson writes this: one of the next contested space portfolios is not in the.
Where are we? This is really on air. This is literally where we are, man. This is literally where we are, man. A new satirical statue depicts Trump and Epstein as doomed lovers from Titanic. Oh, man. Goodness gracious. Supposed to be Trump and Epstein. People just taking pictures.
I think today this one is pretty interesting because they made a very good comparison about luxury travel with the Titanic and what was seemingly put together with Jeffrey Epstein and Trump with whatever they had going on. And I think it's a good play on words this time.
And you Americans ain't gonna do nothing but laugh it off, knowing that these bunch of savages had a global, worldwide ring. It ain't just the island. They do this stuff worldwide, man. Where the hell? This is a mess. Okay? The Lord said he would mingle a perverse spirit in Babylon the Great. So I just wanted to get into those things. Let's see. Hopefully y'all are edified. Craziness, man. All right, giving all praises. Let's see. Israeli real estate moguls found guilty of horrific child sex traffic ring. Look at this nigga here. Let's look at her and then we'll get out of here. Look at this nigga here. Oprah. Looking horrible, man. See if we can find that video of her ass walking around looking like a scarecrow. Yeah. Oh man, imagine her without all that makeup. But Jake got to get we got to get out of America, man. Like, what is this? They all on that Zimp, that OZ. Where was I at? So much. We'll get to that in another one. Where was I at? Hold up. Through. Yo, I forgot where I was at, man. So, you know what? I'll just look it up. Oh man. Oh, yeah, this nigga here.
And so to hear people say things that are just crazy, like I'm a part of a cabal and there's a whole conspiracy with children, that stuff makes me sad. It makes me sad more than anything that people would believe it. And, you know, it's taken me a long time to get to the point.
It's like she looks like that on that other one. Now she just looks normal, man. Where are we? What's going on?
I'm not, you know, I don't feel hurt by it. I don't feel personally hurt by it.
Somebody you admire, somebody you respect.
Anyway, man.
Children, you're 7 years old and it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels.
And that's pushing that philosophy of, you know, there's no limit to, you know, a human being, you know, a child has pleasure for sex, so we can't put an age limit on it. Oh boy. Anyway, this is a mess. Hey, may the Lord destroy this place.